Hello. This is another episode of The Touchdown with Naomie Lebe, your SU President. I am here today with
Shannon. I'm a BU alumni. I graduated in 2019. Sorry, just before the pandemic. And I studied media production here at BU.
Oh, I love it. So we are doing an alumni edition for this, and I'm just here to listen to Shannon's story on how it's been after uni. You know, what would she advise herself if she was to go back again? Because I feel like she's got a lot to say. So yes, I just want to start off with the first question. My first question to you, Shannon, is how was your university journey like?
It was stressful. I feel like I'm not allowed to say that because I didn't do my degree during a pandemic. Really sorry, so I'm sure it wasn't as stressful as students are finding it nowadays.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it had its ups and downs. I was really supported at BU. I had great friends around me. I feel like I prioritised my life in the balance of like going out, working part-time / full-time in my final year. Lol, probably not the brightest idea.
I don't know how people do that, honestly.
I still got a first.
I love it.
I don't know how I did it. But yeah, I feel like it went really well, and I'd love to do it again.
Really? So what kind of like services did you use whilst you were a student at BU?
So I used Zoom advice a few times.
Yeah.
Obviously I got a bit stressed. Mentally put myself in quite a bad place sometimes with the stress of assignments. Like I said, working so much. I got homesick all the time. Like I'm such a family girl. My dad's my best friend.
Love it.
Oh, I love him so much. Shout out, Dad. Love you.
Shout out to Shannon's dad.
Yes. So yeah, I had to like try and go home a lot because I feel like that would be like my therapy. That would reset my brain.
Yeah.
I'd be sat in the student centre actually, trying to get through writer's block with assignments, and then after I'd had a weekend at home, I'd feel refreshed, come back.
Wow, so I'm guessing like that transition period of moving away from home, being a student was not easy for you.
No, it was tough. Like I feel like it was week 3, homesickness kicked in. But yeah, Super Advice were always a listening ear, and they really helped me with like managing stress and stuff like that. So shout out to Super Advice.
Shout out to them. Shout. So how was your accommodation experience like?
So I stayed at Dorchester House.
Yeah.
So I think
So that wasn't your first year?
Yeah. So I went to 2016. So Dorchester House, love. Accommodation in 2nd and 3rd year was just shambles. I actually ended up moving out halfway through my 3rd year.
No way. Did you continue paying?
Yeah, it was really bad. But my partner worked for the council, and he was like constantly like battling with my landlord, like this isn't safe, like these girls aren't safe here, you have this, you should be responsible for this and this, like if there was a fire they wouldn't be able to get out because of this, is like the windows were like locked from the inside.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but it was funny because he clapped back with a comment like, well, at least they're single glazing and you could literally put your finger through them. And my landlord was literally just speechless. But yeah, it got to the point where he was like, right, we'll just rent a place together and I'll cover you until you finish uni. And
wow.
So he was a saviour really, but those other girls that were left there, like it wasn't a good place.
Time.
You know? Like I do think like student landlords think that they can get away with a lot because as Emily said on the previous podcast, they know that students are so naive they can get away with it.
They know nothing, basically.
Exactly.
Majority. Yeah.
And I remember my dad's reaction when I moved in. He dropped me off on my first day of like 2nd year, and I was like, oh, I'm so happy with this house, Dad, can't wait to see it. And his face when we walked through the door that literally didn't even reach the floor, there was like a gap. He was like, sorry. He's like, you're paying for this? And I was like, oh. And he was like, the carpets don't even touch the skirting boards.
No.
You can put your hands through the window, like there's holes in the walls, like what? He's like, there's damp. And I was like, oh, I didn't really know what I was supposed to be looking for. Like I just thought it was a good price because the estate agent told me so. Like the estate agents were putting pressure on us. So I just thought we were onto a winner.
But what more can be done to sort of give the right information to, our students, so that way they know what they're looking for, they know when to speak up when it comes to all of this stuff, because this is essentially money, because I feel like a lot of student money goes towards rent, and they are just taking the advantage of what you know, what you don't know.
Yeah.
So in my head, I'm just thinking now, because you're like the second person or the third person actually that has mentioned quite a lot about accommodation not in a good light. That, I mean, accommodation experience for students is never really in a good light anyways, because they just love taking advantage.
Yeah, for
what
sure.
can sort of be done, and how can we engage students a lot more as an alumni? You know, what kind of feedback?
Well, the stuff that I've seen, like from SU Advice and things like that, they do a really good like housing. When it comes to this time of year before Christmas, like there are things like rumours flying around. That's why we were pressured into into securing this house, because we were hearing from loads of people that, oh, you need to get your accommodation sorted before Christmas. You need to secure and reserve a property before Christmas. And I know so many other students that like felt that pressure. So like campaigns that I've seen since then from like SU Advice, sort of squashing those rumours, all of the myth busting. They do contract checks and things like that. So I think just more comms around like
I think that's
knowing
amazing.
Your rights.
This is what a lot of students do not know, like because a lot of us don't really like reading long terms and conditions and contracts.
I mean,
and
who
stuff.
does?
So exactly. So and
my
they
name.
know that. They know that. So you just tick, terms and conditions agreed, yep. But you know, it is a great thing that Super Services offer, that we can read the contract for you and then advise you accordingly, so you know essentially what you're getting yourself into, because that is where the loopholes are, you know, the blueprint, I guess, for accommodations, and you knowing and understanding your rights. Yeah.
And you said previously in another podcast as well about taking pictures before when you move in on that first day, and that's something that I did, and I took it with my camera, so it was like date stamped as well. And that was so good, because obviously when I moved out early, and I had to like do it based on my room. And like they tried saying, oh, where there's mould growing by the window, blah blah blah, and I was like, if you actually look at this photo here, there's mould under the windowsill. And all they kept doing was like painting over it with like anti-mould paint, and I was like, you do realise that's not a solution, like.
Right.
I was only 22, but I'm like, this isn't a solution, like even I know that. Why are you as a landlord just painting over the mould? Like, it doesn't make it go away.
And they love doing that, to be fair. Like I remember previously actually someone moved into one of the accommodations that I lived in, and when they walked into the room, there was mold everywhere, and because of that, they felt like they couldn't breathe properly, because they have, you know, I guess medical conditions and stuff like that. So if you're not aware of your medical conditions, you may not even know how badly these molds in your room could be for your health, you know, because
they're really bad. If you've got like asthma or any other sort of like respiratory issues, do not part with mold, people. Do not.
It's just not it, you know. And as a student, like within your journey, where did you shop the most? Where did you feel like it was more convenient for you? Whether it's food, duvets, just the everyday stuff, you know.
When I was a student, it was definitely Asda, just because. Okay, listen. Asda was my go-to, because all of my friends were like, Aldi, Lidl, like, yes, I agree, it is great. I could get lost down the middle aisle of Lidl or Aldi for like years, like my partner's the same. But when it came to like, I was vegetarian, so I couldn't really get a lot of vegetarian food, and like I know a lot of my friends that were like celiac or couldn't eat certain products. They struggled with like dietary requirement stuff at Aldi and Lidl, so sorry, it was Asda. And Asda bedding, oh my god. I literally bought a new bed set like every month because it was so cute.
Oh wow, I love me a good bedding. Honestly, at the moment I am on a search of a new one, so I may check out Asda. But I was looking to like check out M&S. I don't know who I think I am, but I'm somebody.
Listen, I'm not even going to surprise you here. Like, I have 3 bed sets from M&S. Like, the quality is unmatchable. Right? Really sorry.
So sometimes you need to treat yourself. Okay. Sometimes you treat yourself with your nails, you know, your hair, or anything else.
Put a price on a good night's sleep, Naomie.
Oh, thank you. Oh my god. That is a word. Word. You know, that is a word.
If you take anything from this podcast, you cannot put a price on a good night's sleep.
It's true.
And I have a bucket load of other advice as a graduate. But...
No, give it to us. You know, we want to hear it all, really.
Okay, right. My main thing is get involved with as much as you can, purely because looking back on my university journey, like I really, really regret not getting involved in like a couples society, not running to be like a women's officer. Like I am quite an activist for like all sorts of things. So like not getting a platform when it's free and you got to have so many different opportunities. You don't get that chance again. Like going into the working world, if you want to get some training or some extra experience as a graduate, you are like bottom of the pile. Like you have to prove to your employer that you are worthy of them paying for you to do this training. You are worthy of them. You are worthy for them to give you this extra experience. Whereas at university, for those 3 years, I know it sounds like a long time, but it goes so fast. You have experiences thrown at you left, right, and centre. Like being able to like be part of the exec, or being able to have a say in changing what the student union does for students, being a PAL leader, like being part of Res Life. Like there's so many things to do here at BU and like at SUBU.